Hey everybody, this is Lily with Ink Possible Things. I'm happy to be back for a really quick and easy project. This is our washi tape birthday card that I'm going to show you how to do. It's super easy. It uses just a little bit of supplies, nothing too fancy, and you can make a whole bunch of these and send to your friends or family. So this is what we'll need to make this card. You're going to need, of course, the washi tape. And Lisa has this wonderful collection of washi tape that is part of the latest kit club. You can pick some of these up in her booth, or you can just use whatever washi tape you have on hand. If you're a washi tape hoarder like I am, this is the perfect project for this, or this is the perfect project for washi tape. Becca in the booth next to mine, as you're facing my booth at Timeless Treasure, if you look to the left, that's Becca's booth. Hanging in her wall, she's got a pack of watercolor paper, and she's already cut down the cards down to size for you. So her pack is only $2. There's 8 of them in here. They're the perfect size. So if you have a card base already made for you, they fit perfectly over that. But I did cut mine down just a little bit so that I could have some of that color showing through. And I think I'll probably cut this one down also. But I really like that color to show through. But so pick up some of these. And Becca in her booth also has paintbrushes. This is a size 4. She does this wonderful, awesome watercolor class. I think she does Copic watercolors and then just brush markers. And I picked up some great techniques from her that I'm going to show you today. But she has this brush in there and in her booth. So, you know, you need about a size 4 brush. It's a round brush, and it's great for making flower petals. And this is what I use to make the little flames above the candles. So pick one of those up if you don't have one. You can find it in Becca's booth. You'll also need a card base. Now, I do have some of these laying around, and this is from Vicky Bouton's collection of cards, but this is a Michael's card. If you don't have one, you can just make one really quick by cutting down a piece of cardstock. And this card measures, let's see. It measures 5.5 by 4.25. So it would be 5.5 by 8.5 inches, really. So what it is basically is half a sheet of paper that you cut down. So this is 8.5 by 11. So you just fold it in half or cut it in half and then fold this in half to make the card. So if you've got cardstock you want to use, this is the perfect project for that. Otherwise, I think I'm looking at these 2 sheets of paper that came in Lisa's latest kit from the Kit Club. They're in there, and they have a blank or a white back, so they are kind of thin, but I think once we glue the card, the watercolor card on top, it will stiffen that up and make it a little stronger. So I'm going to use one of these 2. I haven't decided which one yet. The other things that you're going to need are either a brush marker. You don't really need this if you have the brush, but if you don't have a brush, you can use a brush marker. I am using a Micron number 1, and I carry these in my booth if you're looking for one. And this is what we do, the little finishing touches with this, okay? I do have a couple of Tombow markers that I use, and I played around with the yellows, and I think I really like the yellow 025, the orange 925, and the Tombow 249. This is for a background color. I don't know if you can see here, but there's a slight background color on this card, and I think it's gonna, I hope the finished product is going to help make it blend in with this paper. But you can use whatever colors you want. You know, these are watercolor markers, so they're designed to be used, you know, kind of like your watercolors where you put a little bit down and you spread it around with water. So My watercolor markers came with a blending palette, which is just a little piece of plastic, laminated plastic. You can find anything that's been laminated, or if you don't have that, the perfect, you can use like cellophane, like this little piece of cellophane that Becca has in her cards. You can use that as a blending palette, and I'll show you how when we get to that part. All right, I also sell the Tombow markers, so does Becca in her booth, so you might want to try to find these colors in there. If not, let me know and I can order you some. Scissors, tape runner, a little bit of water in a jar, a paper towel, and I think that's it. So let's get started. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to paint the flames onto our piece of paper. I'm going to try to keep them away from the edge, but of course you can go from edge to edge. You know, it's up to you how you want to do this. The other thing to keep in mind is you want to kind of make sure that they are painted far enough apart so your washi tape doesn't overlap, or it could overlap. That's the other thing, you know, if you want your flames to be closer to each other and your tape to overlap, that's great. Do it that way too. There is no right and wrong. The only thing we need to do here is create, okay? So I have my piece of watercolor paper, and I have my blending palette, and this is, like I said, just a piece of laminated paper that Tombow gives with their markers. But if you don't have that, use the cellophane for these cards. What you want to do is you want to take your marker and color that a little bit of the cellophane. Take a little bit of water in a cup and then swish your paintbrush in it, and then swish this around so that this turns into a watery color, and then you can go in and color onto your paper. Okay, that's all you really need to do here. So I'm going to swish my paintbrush around. I'm going to dab out a little bit of water here, and I'm going to start with, I don't know, let me see what I want to do here. This is my play card. Maybe I want to start with my orange. So I'm just going to scribble some orange in there. Take some water, mixed it up on the palette, and let's see. So for flames, if you want to practice this beforehand, all you're really doing is drawing parentheses. So I'm going to show you. First, you do the parenthesis on the left, and if you notice, I'm holding my brush like I do a pencil. So I'm just kind of drawing very lightly. I'm not pushing down really hard. I'm just pushing very lightly like a pencil, drawing that left side parentheses. I'm going to go up here at the top and draw the right side, and then just kind of fill it in and try to make this down here like a flame. I'm looking at this orange and I'm noticing how it looks kind of pinkish on here. So I might have to, we're going to use this just very, very sparingly. But anyways, what I want you to do first is play with your yellows. See which yellow works best to create the flame. Add some water there. And then practice your flame making on just a little watercolor, one of the watercolor sheets before you actually do it on the card you want. And also, this is a good time to notice how much water you put on here dilutes the color on the card. So play around with, you know, maybe making it a little bit less diluted. So it's kind of a trial and error thing. That flame's not too bad. Let's try this yellow. This is super, super yellow. Yeah, I don't like this yellow, so we're not going to use this yellow. But let me try this orange and see. Yeah, that's weird. Huh. All we're gonna do is use just a little bit of this orange and the inside of the flame. All right, so I feel pretty confident. I'm gonna wipe this away and I'm gonna show you how to get started on your flames. So we're gonna start with the yellow that you choose, okay? And then all you do is you just squiggle onto the blending palette, swish your brush in some water, and you don't want to take too much water off because you want water to mix up the color and make it a little bit watery for that watercolor effect. So here I'm just gonna do a parentheses. There's one side of my parentheses, there's the other side, and then I just kind of fill in the inside. Okay, now we're gonna do these. Oops, you don't have to dip your brush in water every time. We are going to do these all the way across the page, and some flames can be bigger than others. Don't worry if that happens. Just enjoy the process. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Okay, so we've got our flames all the way across, and we have room up here at the top to write happy birthday. We're gonna let this dry, but you don't actually have to. I'm gonna take my orangey color, number 925. I'm gonna scribble here. I'm gonna add some water to that, mix it up, and then I'm gonna take my brush and my paper towel and I'm gonna wash it off till the color comes off. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to take some of this water, I want to wet my brush again, and I'm going to drop a little drop right here on the bottoms of the flames. Don't drop too much water. I just did that here, so I'm taking some out. And now I'm going to pick up this orange and I'm just going to hit the bottom there, and all I'm doing is I'm just tapping, and you see how that color's kind of blending in. I'm gonna do that again. Clean my brush, dip it in the water, add a drop of water to the bottoms of the flame, and then take the orange and just tap it on there. There we go. Now we've got the simulation of a little bit of orangey flame. So now we are going to let this dry. And when it dries, we're going to come back and add our washi tape to it. So this is mostly dry. Now we're going to take our washi tape, and you get to decide which one you want to do, but all you're really doing is, I'm going to start with the small black one here, and I'm going to put that one in the center, and all I'm really doing is I'm going to tear off the top just so it kind of blends in, makes it look a little bit cooler. But I'm going to start here, and I'm not putting it right up to the flame. I'm actually moving it down just a little bit, positioning it, and then I'm just going to drag it down. Give it a good push down so it sticks. If it doesn't stick, you can probably use a little bit of glue, but we're just gonna go all the way across here. Ooh, I want this green. I'm gonna do that here. You can even tear it diagonally, just like this, so it looks like it's wearing down just a tad. Push that down there. And you can go, oops, got a little hair stuck in there. You can go past the card, it's okay. Because we're gonna cut that off at the end. Now, I use black in the center, so I think I'm gonna use a black. This is the same washi tape. I'm gonna tear this a little bit down diagonally like this, and I'm gonna use this at the end over here. And then I'm going to use a dark one over here on this side in the same way. There we go. And now I'm going to use some of these greens. Okay, when you're done, make sure everything is down securely, and then you can take your scissors and just cut off the bottoms to line everything up, or it's also okay if you want to fold them over, you can. That's fine too. Okay, so now I'm going to take my micron. This is a number 2. I do have number 1s in my booth that you can use, but I think I'm going to go for a number 2, even though I said I used a number 1. But I like the thicknesses. They're just very slightly thicker as you go up in number. So we're going to use this one, and we do a line here first to kind of just give it the wick. And then we're going to go around the flame, and all you're doing again is just kind of tracing the flame. Doesn't have to be perfect. My watercolor falls on the outside of the flame. We're just adding a little decorative detail here. Okay. Next, you can add some decorations with the number 2 micron as well. And by that, I mean you can go around and just do little dots. You can do them on the tops of the flames, over on the sides. And all I'm doing is tapping, adding just a little bit more interest. So there is the top of our card. Now we got one more thing to do actually. See how this doesn't quite blend in with this? we're going to color the background a little bit. So once this is all dry, we're going to take our brush again and our clean water, swish it around in there. And all you're doing is you're going to spread water on the card to wet it down. It works a lot better if you do this. You don't have to go in between the candles, but try to get as much of your card or the top of your card wet as possible, because it'll look better for the final product. It'll work better. It'll be easier to color it. But here, I don't know if you can see, if you look at that sideways, you can see where all the water is. And once we have that, I'm going to take a Tombow marker. This is 249. And I'm going to scratch it onto the palette, take some clean water, spread that around. And for this, I do use quite a bit of water to wash it down. And then we're just going to paint everywhere we have color. And you can definitely use more water to water it down. We just want a very slight tint to kind of wash out that super, dark color. Oops, that's too. If you make that mistake, just add more water. The more water you add, the more the color washes down and blends in better. So now this card will blend in a little better with our background. So I'm going to let this dry. When I come back, we're going to cut our card down to size and then glue this on top. Okay, my card is still a little bit damp, but we're letting it dry, and I'm looking at my papers to see which one would work best, and we're going to go with the fishy one. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off the top here. So I'll be right back. So again, our watercolor card is 5.5 inches. I'm going to flip this backwards. I'm going to take my pencil, if I can find it. Where's my pencil? There it is. And I'm going to mark off 5.5 inches right here. And this card should be 8 inches. It's 4.25. So 4.25 plus 4.25 is 8.5 inches. So I can go 8.5 inches. I'm going to mark this right there. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this paper. Now I got a score template. And for me, I can fold this card in half, but I don't want to screw it up. So it's easier if you just take it, and it's 8.5 inches. So 4.25 is my half mark. So I'm just going to score it because it makes it easier to fold. So now I got this, and I'm going to fold it one way, fold it the other, take my score or a credit card or anything you can use and just gently fold that down. Okay, so now our card will fit on here, but it's too big. So I'm just gonna eyeball this. I'm gonna trim off the top here, and I'm gonna trim off the sides to even them out a little bit so that this beautiful paper shows through. So I'll be right back. Okay, I've cut it down a little. I might have cut it too short, but you know, I like this, so what can I say? And now the other question is, do I want to glue this so that it's flush on the bottom like this, or centered on the top? And I think we're gonna go with centered right on there. But first, we still gotta write happy birthday on this. The card has dried. It's looking really cute. So here's what I do, is I use my mat, measuring mat here. I'm gonna line this up, and I've got some extra washi tape. So all I'm doing is I'm gonna line this up along, kind of centered. Ooh, can you hear that thunder outside? There's a big storm coming. So I'm gonna tape this down like this. And then I'm gonna take my micron marker. This time I'm using the O2. But I'm going to take my ruler, line it up along this line, these lines here, to keep it straight, and kind of center or eyeball where the center is. And all I'm gonna do is write on here, happy birthday. There it is. So now I'm just going to take my card and my tape runner and tape the card. Okay, you guys, I can never figure this tape runner out. There we go. I'm going to tape my card to my base. And the way I line it up is I kind of lay this over it, tap the top. I want to make sure the top is kind of even. Then I check the sides, and then hopefully everything lines up correctly. And it's crooked. That's okay though. That is okay. So now we have a card. It has made it a little bit more easier to, or stiffer, so I don't have to worry about it falling or being too flimsy. It makes it a little bit better like that. So now you just got to find an envelope this fits into. You can make one handmade, or you can go to Lisa's booth and see if she's got some of her blank envelopes. I think she said she was stocking up with those, so you can go buy those. But that's it, guys. Real simple, real easy, and real fun. I hope you enjoyed this project, and leave me a comment down below and let me know how you did, or if you've got some better things or some improvements that you made. I'd love to see them. Have a wonderful day.